Okay, so number 7, and this is a big myth, and I want to put your minds at ease. You don't need Hi, I'm Christine Siddons, and welcome to the One Tough Mama podcast. I am so glad that you're here. I am a Christian wife and a mom to many, and I also homeschool. So I wanted to talk about homeschool and the things that we use in our homeschool, and honestly, the things that you don't need for homeschool. So currently, I homeschool 3 kids, and I also help out with my granddaughters. I have homeschooled all 8 of my kids at one point or another, some of them just briefly and others for a long period. So this is what I have accumulated. You can kind of see over here what I'm accumulated over the years. This is just part of it. Again, it's years of accumulation. I have been homeschooling for many years. And so when we started out, literally, it was the curriculum and paper, writing utensils, and probably crayons and regular crafty things that you would have at home. That was really it. So this, all that you see right here, is multiple years of accumulating items. I have 9 things that you don't need as a homeschooler. And I'm sure there's more that you don't need. So this is just our list, my list that I have come up with. So number 1 is you don't need to do the latest trend or the latest fad. With Instagram, social media, everybody is posting their homeschool rooms and what they use and what they buy. And that's awesome because you can get ideas, you can go off of them. I think that's wonderful. But also, it adds pressure and like, oh, I need that, As homeschoolers, if you're like me, I like when school starts because all the school supplies are out and, I like to get school supplies. So when I see other homeschoolers online, it's kind of tempting to just fall into the trap of, oh, I need that too. So some of the things that I have bought that we don't use or that we've used just for a short bit and really they were kind of useless. So I'm going to go over some of the things that I bought that we really didn't need. So nature boxes. Literally before I did this, I had to blow the dust off of this box. While this is very cool and I love nature. I'm one of those moms that, oh, look at the bird. Oh, look at this. I point out nature all the time. But we kind of went over this a little bit and we didn't use it as much as I thought. So for example, and I think I got this on Etsy, a bird nest, the journal that you can keep to write down facts. Some of the things I've added myself. So snake skin. Wood pieces, raccoon fur. Some of this is kind of cool because we don't have raccoons here and different things. So that was nice. This all came in a pack and I have since put it in baggies. And as you can probably see, it is pretty dusty. So we don't use it like I thought we would. When I did print up, for example, when we did turkey feathers or something like that. I printed up worksheets and printouts with the turkeys and broke it down. So I kind of made not a unit study, but I just kind of added my own flair to this. But honestly, it literally sits on top of my, I have right there. It sits right there, collects dust. So you don't need a nature box unless that's part of your rhythm and curriculum. So another thing that you don't need are nature journals. Again, I thought we were going to use this nature journal way more than what we ever did. I think it's cool. I would love, if I was a kid, to go outside and write what I did, what I saw today, the weather, all that kind of stuff. I would love to do this, but my kids, not so much. So Nature journals, again, if they work for your school, that's great, but they don't work for us. And then morning baskets. If you don't know what a morning basket is, there's plenty of things online that you can look it up. We tried a morning basket, but it didn't work. So you don't have to have a morning basket. All right, now the latest books, the latest cool things that, look awesome. So these right here, like this one, I saw these on another Instagrammer and I was like, these look so cool, I'm gonna get them. And yeah, they are great, and I've opened them up and we've studied them a little bit. But honestly, I almost think some homeschoolers get these kind of things and display them more for decoration than for really like showing the maps and stuff. We have kind of gone through here and gone over it, but it wasn't as good as I expected. So you don't need the latest book and what everybody else is reading and things like that. Okay, so you also don't need, I'm covering up my list here. You also don't need the latest style. Right now, it's kind of different styles go through the homeschool world. And honestly, you're going to hear me say this a lot, but honestly, you need to figure out what works for you and for your kids and for your family and go with that. You don't need the latest trend and the latest style, okay? So that's number one. Number two is a laminator. I have a laminator, and I've used the laminator, and I like the laminator, but you don't need the laminator. You need it if you are printing up, like for example, over here we have a calendar, and I laminated the calendar. I think I printed it off of Etsy, and I laminated it. It has Velcro pieces, and we use the calendar every day. And my son, if you know my son, he loves calendars, and so he literally takes that job over. And these are like the laminated days and the weather, so the days of the week, the weather, and I have an envelope, like a pencil envelope for that. But you don't need a laminator unless you're going to do things like that. And I guess just calculate the price. You can go get them laminated at like an office store, or you can laminate them at home. It really depends on how much you're going to use it to determine if it's worth the cost. Okay, number three is a printer. We had a printer for our regular life to print up pictures, to print up different documents, recipes. We already had a printer. And I think a lot of people have printers, but you don't have to have a printer to homeschool. We have printed up a good amount of things for homeschool using our printer. And if you are familiar with The Good and the Beautiful, then you can actually download and print up a lot of their books for free. And so I don't know if that's still available, but I know that I've printed up a bunch for free. And honestly, we haven't used a lot of it. So I have like a whole section of binders that is The Good and the Beautiful that I printed up. But you don't need a printer. Again, you can go to a friend's house. My kids use our printers actually. So you don't need a printer. While very convenient, you can homeschool without a printer. Okay, number four is a chalkboard or whiteboard. And I know that, again, they look cool. We had a whiteboard when we first started out. We literally didn't buy it. My husband had one in the garage. And so we used that for homeschool. But honestly, we don't use this for homeschool as much as the kids use it and kids that come just to write and play school. And so, sorry, I have a hair. So you don't really need a chalkboard. Everything you can do that you would use a chalkboard for, you literally can just get a scratch piece of paper and like just say you're working out math problems with one of your children. You literally can just write it out with your kid right there. using the scratch paper. I did one time, a couple of times. I did a couple of times with our science units. I would write, like, just say we did the solar system. I would draw a big solar system and all that kind of stuff and have the vocabulary words. And honestly, it was more, again, for decoration, and we really don't use it that much. So you don't need a chalkboard or whiteboard. Okay, number 5 is schoolroom and school desks. So I do have a schoolroom and I do have school desks, like literally school desks. I got these school desks secondhand, like not an antique store, but kind of like an antique store, thrift store kind of thing. And then I just piecemealed them together from different places. I have used our kitchen table, and when we first started, it was the kitchen table in the dining room, and our dining room was super small. And then I just had like a little mini shelf with cubbies with their curriculum and a couple of school supplies. Then it moved to our kitchen table, like a bigger kitchen table. We moved to a bigger house. And then in this room, when I first started out, I had just a fold-out table that you can get at Walmart, those plastic kinds. And that's where I had the kids sit around the table and we did our school that way. Here, it works out best. I have 4 desks in a U shape, so 2 and 1. And then I sit in the middle and have a roller chair, and I go around and teach each kid. And I kind of can stand back. I've rearranged the room depending on the dynamics and what I'm teaching and things like that. So desks are kind of nice. They have elbow room. They have the storage in the desk itself, but they are not necessary. Many homeschoolers use their kitchen tables just fine. So you don't need desks. Again, I have desks and I have a schoolroom, and it's been a blessing, and I am very happy with my schoolroom, but you don't need a schoolroom or desks. Okay, number 6. You don't need a lot of time to homeschool. When I first started homeschooling, I had my one son. And then I quickly took my daughter out of school and I homeschooled my 2 kids. We were spending like over 5 hours a day homeschooling. I thought I had to do every subject every day. We had to finish. We were using Sunlight at the time, and I was going by the teacher's guide, and I felt like I had to finish everything on that list. Had to finish the books by the end of the school year. And it didn't work. We were tired of each other. We were burnt out. Didn't leave a whole lot of time for the regular life, just regular chores, cooking, cleaning, playing, all that stuff. And so you really don't need a lot of time. You don't need to replicate the school day in your house. Everybody does homeschool different, and that's great. That's the beauty of homeschool. You do whatever you need to do to fit your family dynamics, and that is one of the best things about homeschool. So you don't need a lot of hours. So literally in the morning, my son and I work one-on-one with my son, and we do it for about an hour, hour and a half at this point. And then we do group work. And so it was 8:30, and then about 10 o'clock we do group work. And then about 11:30 is when we're done. So I don't even know how long it takes for group work. It changes all the time. But then after group work, I break. My one son goes on he has like a program that he does on his iPad. And then our 7-year-old, I work on one-on-one with her. And so I'm done by 11:30. So 3 hours. And that's 3 kids. And so you don't need a lot of time, and everybody varies depending on what you do. And honestly, it's about the education, like it's about all day. So honestly, it's not so much the sit down time. It's all day. Like they're playing, they're learning, they're cooking with you, they're learning, They're doing errands with you. They're learning. So school is all day, but sit down school doesn't have to be for that many hours. Okay, so number 7, and this is a big myth, and I want to put your minds at ease. You don't need experience, and you don't need a college education. You don't need to have done well in school, okay? So your kids need you, and you, since you already are thinking about homeschooling, you already have the best interest of your kids at heart. Whatever the reason is for homeschooling, that varies from family to family as well. But you don't need to have a lot of teaching experience. You don't even need to have teaching experience. I know people who don't even like teaching who are doing very well at homeschool. You don't need a college education. You don't need to have a teaching background. A lot of curriculum today is literally open and go. So you don't have to do a lot of prep work. You don't have to know, I don't know how to do algebra, whatever. A lot of times you get your kids to that point and they teach themselves, or you find somebody to help teach them. So like just say, I don't understand algebra. I have somebody to help come in and show my kid how to do algebra, or whatever. And you kind of like exchange your knowledge. So if you don't know something that your kid needs or wants to know, find somebody that does. Number 8, curriculum. You don't need curriculum. And I know that kind of sounds like, what? That is homeschool. Okay, so I use curriculum, and I need that kind of help. I need that structure for me. I'm much more free and loose after all these years. I'm not so stringent. But there are families that don't use curriculum and their kids are fine. It's called unschooling. There's different methods. Do some research if you're new to homeschooling or you're thinking about homeschooling, but you honestly don't even need curriculum. And last but not least is all the extras. Okay, so I'm going to kind of go over a lot of things, and the extras and the latest trends can kind of go hand in hand. So some of the extras can kind of fall under the latest trends and fad styles. You don't need, like, I have these character building cards. I have a few of them. I have these baskets that I keep on. So this is one bookshelf. It's literally books. And then in here, in this area, I keep like the top row. The top row is curriculum. And then the cubbies, you can't really see them. I have cubbies and paints and different things like that. And on top are the school supplies. And then exactly like this bookshelf, I have it on the other side of this cubby shelf. And up in there is where I keep these baskets. So in these baskets are very random supplies. I have googly eyes. I have buttons, clothespins, yarn, different items like that. And this one, same thing, pom-poms. So this one we had a book. We were like part of a book club, and you read the book and they have a craft and actually food and things like that to go along with it. This one was for the secret garden. I saved it just in case we need it. I have binder clips, extra erasers. This was another like sensory thing. It had black beans and you take the space people out. And pom-poms, slinkies, different items like that. I mean, I could probably go through them and get rid of some stuff, but probably if I get rid of it, then I'll need it. So you don't really even need this extra kind of things. I have Play-Doh, markers, pencils, colored pencils, regular pencils, paints, scissors. I have various maps. This is a map of the world. I have a map of the United States. I have a globe right there. So this is the map of the United States. I mean, this is the map of the world. Globe, map of the United States. And then I have another like topographical map in the corner. I have various items throughout. I have counting things. A couple other items that you don't need, again, 3-hole punch, again, if you're making your own books and you're going to put them in a binder, that's great. Science books, again, I am purposely taking these out and going over them because I'm like, I spend money on them. These are handy, but you don't need them. We have used them. Again, you don't need them. Mini chalkboards. Again, there's so many things that you can acquire that you don't need. Many items I have found at the thrift store. Good time to go to the thrift store is at the end of the school year or at the beginning of the school year. And then it's just periodically. These I got at a place I was going out of business. They were a tutoring company. Some of the things I bought brand new. Other things, thrift store. So yard sale thrift stores are awesome place to find items. But honestly, you don't need any of this stuff that you see in my room. And yeah, so hopefully this helps alleviate some of the stress that can come with and the pressure that can come with homeschooling and the bar, being so high with social media that you have to have a room. Your room has to look so awesome and things like that. Honestly, your kids need you and your time and probably a few books. So that's it. If you ever have any questions, go ahead and leave it in the comments. I will comment back. And yeah, thank you for tuning in.